Check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Board of Education meeting of September 3rd, 2025. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Natalie, would you please reiterate our executive session motion?
Yes, we met to discuss the particular employment history of a particular individual.
Thank you. I hope everyone has had a wonderful start to the new school year. There's nothing quite like the excitement of the first day, and I hope that sense of new possibilities and positive energy carries throughout the year. We're grateful to everyone who prepared our schools over the summer, from the facilities team and the students who helped them, to our educators laying the groundwork for a strong year of learning. On our annual building tour, we saw great progress, including the new HVAC system at the middle school and the new turf field at Glover. And we thank our community partners, families, Pelham Education Foundation, Pelham Civics, Pelham Together, and our PTAs, to name a few, for their ongoing support. Last week, the board held its annual retreat, which included our self-evaluation. It confirmed what I know to be true, that this board works hard and works well together. We also identified areas to strengthen, continuing to improve communication so the community has clear information and confidence in our decisions, ensuring long-term financial sustainability, especially as we continue to face budgetary headwinds, while maintaining strong programs and embarking on much-needed facilities upgrades. Running our meetings more efficiently. So you may hear me say, let's move along to keep us on track. And finally, collaboration with our governments, whether that be our village governments or through increasing advocacy efforts at the state level. We also need to adopt a code of ethics this school year. Tonight, we will also discuss and hopefully approve our board goals and communication protocol. These goals focus on supporting student learning and outcomes while making sure the community understands the value of Pelham schools, the value that Pelham schools brings to our students and families. That means building trust through stronger communication, ensuring sustainable budgets while advancing programs and capital projects, and supporting the district's use of data to enhance student growth and achievement, and using data to demonstrate the impact of our district's robust academic, arts, extracurricular, and support programs. We're looking forward to a successful school year for all Pelham students. And finally, I want to welcome our new student board member, Emerson Jerabek. Emerson, we're happy to have you and have your voice at the table to help keep this student perspective front and center. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. I think at this time I will invite our district clerk to come forward and to swear in our new student board member. While she's coming, I will say, just for folks who don't know, the state passed new regulations this year that all boards of education should have at least one student board of education member. And something some of us have been thinking about for a while, and it seems like a very natural fit for Pelham. So Mr. Llewellyn and I at the high school interviewed applicants, and we're really excited tonight to have Emerson joining us as the first ever Pelham Public Schools ex officio school board member. She can tell us a little bit about herself in just a minute after she's sworn in, but just so the board knows too, as you know, for policy, we had identified, our policy looks for 2 students, a junior and a senior. Our seniors are very busy, so we're still seeking applicants. So I put the advertisement out there, but really excited that Emerson's gonna be forging the way for this new tradition in Pelham. And her term will be 2 years, so we're excited that she's gonna be with us, learning the ropes this year and then being a mentor next year for a new junior who will come aboard. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Ms. Miller come and lead her through this.
I, Emerson Jerabek, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of student ex officio member of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. again, so we can get everything on microphone. So Emerson and I met with Mr. Llewellyn today, just talk about what this might look like going forward, since this is new, so it's a chance to kind of invent the role. We talked a little bit about just some procedural things, what to expect tonight, a little bit about the difference between governance and running schools. And I know it's gonna, Emerson's gonna bring a lot to our conversations, as Jackie said, to be the voice of the students, to share what's going on at the high school, and to really contribute to our conversation. So we very much look forward to her being part of the board. We also, and I will say it up front, and I'll probably say it after too, we've also made clear that she is welcome to stay as long as she is able, but we recognize the demands that students have on them academically and all the other extracurricularly. So she will be with us generally through the beginning of the meeting, certainly through the report section, and as long as she's able. But we do, when the time comes that you need to go, feel free to, to do what you gotta do. But before we move on from that, Emerson, if you could just take a minute and just help the board get to know who you are a little bit, and welcome.
Before I introduce myself, I would like to thank Dr. Champ and Mr. Llewellyn for selecting me for this role. As I mentioned before, my name is Emerson Jarabic, and I'm starting junior year at Pelham Memorial High School. I'm excited to have this role for the year. As a little bit of information about me, I started at Pelham in first grade at Prospect Hill Elementary, and I've attended the school system since. I have a younger sister who's going into freshman year here, and I have a yellow lab at home named Macy. She was a COVID puppy, but still enjoys picking me up and dropping off my sister at school every day. The last 2 summers, I've had a job at Maritime Camp, and I've had many Pelham students as campers, along with involving myself in the community through volunteering. Overall, I'm really excited to be involved in this role with the board and look forward to the opportunity this role presents.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna go on with our normal business, and as I said to Emerson, in future meetings, she'll come with a report that she can share during our report section, but tonight we're letting her off the hook because it's her first night
Can I
and
just
to
say
start
that
us
I know
slow.
we're trying to shorten our
Sure.
meetings, but this is so important, I think, to have a student join our board and to hear the perspective. And so just want to say that I hope that you come to see the board as a group of people who support you and value you in your role here with us. And as much as we hope that you'll listen and learn from us, know that we are here to listen and learn from you as well, because student voice and your voice really matters to us, and helps bring that perspective to the board table that we otherwise wouldn't be able to get. So thank you for being the first. It's hard to be the first, but thank you for taking the leap and for stepping into this responsibility and joining the board.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so we are going to, do I have a motion to take 3.1 and 3.2 as a consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions on the meeting minutes from August 7th or August 26th? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed, so those motions carry, and next we can move to Dr. Champ's superintendent's report.
Great, and I just remembered one thing too, if I didn't say it before, with our student ex officio member, unfortunately, for them, they don't have a voting role, so I just, important for the community to know that. They don't have a voting role, nor they can't come to executive session either. But I think, as Catherine said it very eloquently, student voice at the table is gonna be really important and powerful. So I'm gonna shift down to the podium for the next portion to go through opening of school report. This was a joint effort, because nothing happens under the power of one person here, so.
I like this little-
I know, it's really nice to have the longer screen. Okay, so very exciting. This has been an incredibly positive and coherent opening of school. One of the things that we worked on as an administrative team this year from the cabinet and extended into the entire administrative cabinet is we're really trying hard to focus on coherence this year and to really align our efforts so that we're really powerfully moving together in a unified direction. And I think we're already seeing the benefits of that, because everything that we did over the course of the week ahead, the summer planning up into, and then the week ahead of school opening, and then school actually opening, we're already seeing that alignment day in and day out. So it was a very positive, very exciting opening of school. The things that we did ahead of time to plan, throughout the summer, folks don't know what we do. We do a lot of things during the summer. It's one of the only times we get to actually think and sit and think and reflect deeply and collaborate together in a thought, and to have time to think about what did we achieve and accomplish in the prior year, how do we set our priorities and goals for the next year. So that summer we worked together, began with a debrief of last school year with our administrative team on June 30th and July 1st, where we celebrated, came together and really took stock of what we had accomplished in the year and what were the natural next steps. And in that, we then talked about where do we want to go for the upcoming year, what do we want our theme and our focus to be. And so we set our district focus through that, and then we also had an administrative retreat on Monday, August 25th, to round that out. Throughout the summer, we had a really talented, and actually throughout a large part of last school year, an AI user group, which you're going to be seeing the benefits of as we go through this coming year. A group of faculty who are really cutting edge on thinking about AI. What does it mean for us as professionals? What does it mean for us as educators? What does it mean for our students? And what should the role of AI be in our schools? Throughout the summer, we had faculty engaged in 84 curriculum writing projects across the spectrum of the curriculum subjects and all grade levels as well, to align, review, and update our curriculum, continue to improve learning experiences for our students across the district. We also were pleased to continue to offer, thanks to the board's support in the budget, a robust summer program, Summer Stars, which is for our elementary students who are in need of some extra academic support in the summer, extended school year for our special education students per their IEP, running some middle school programs for students who need some an extra boost in academics, and some who even want to be able to accelerate into algebra and get ahead on the math track. Those were all actually held this year. Normally they're at the middle school. This year they were all held at Hutchinson because of construction going on at the middle school. And all that summer work then culminated in the week before the opening of school with a administrative retreat, new teacher orientation, followed by 2 full days of professional learning and superintendent's conference days. So as I said before, our administrative team really spent some deep, thoughtful time collaborating this summer, and through that came up with our theme for this year, Systems of Support for All Students. We took our strategic plan and what we felt were the important next steps to build on that and tried to find a unifying theme that we could anchor all of our work around. As I've shared with the board as well, and we shared it at opening day, we used Stephen Covey's Big Rocks theory to really focus our work. And that meaning identify what are the big, most important things that we need to accomplish this year, get really clear on them, focus on them first, and then all the other smaller things and activities of the day-to-day can filter in around those. And if you start with those at the core, we'll fit it all in. We'll be able to get it all done. If we don't focus on those first, that time is going to get pulled into other things that are less important. So we've really held tight to that theme of systems of support for all students, and really in our planning for coherence held tight to our big rocks. And we're starting to roll those plans out now. Those 3 big rocks for us this year are a continuation of our multi-tiered systems of support. Sorry for all the educationese, but that's the system where we use data to inform instruction and to identify where students need, whether it's support or enrichment, identify those needs, and then work as educators to meet those needs. So it's building more system around that so that we're more intentionally and consistently applying that. Instruction.
Just to clarify too, the MTSS multi-tiered systems of support happens at the classroom level in
Yes.
all of our classrooms.
Yes, thank you.
So it's happening, and you might not hear about it or
That's very true.
talk about it or
Yeah.
hear people talk about it, but it's happening in all of our
Yes,
classrooms.
and it's embedded in what we do. It's an excellent point. Instructional technologies, we're exploring a variety of them. AI, as I've mentioned, we're deepening our use of branching minds. Our school counseling department has shifted from Naviance to SCORE as a new system that many schools are using. They're finding it more useful for students in the career and college process. So developing our faculty skill around those areas. And then also a big theme that you're going to be hearing over the next several years is as we unpack the New York Inspires initiative that was, came out of the Blue Ribbon Commission. They made a series of recommendations. They've adopted a new profile of a graduate of New York students, and now we've got the next, predominantly, it's going to be huge work over the next 4 years of unpacking what that looks like, how that impacts our school system. Initially, it's going to impact graduation requirements, but you'll see that it really has K-12 implications as we work as a system. And then finally, throughout our administrative plans, we a couple of times we took the back to the future approach. Where do we want to be a year from now? What did we do to get there, hypothetically? And then mapped our work plans to that. We'll talk more about that later in this presentation. New teacher orientation. Dr. Fitzgerald planned an outstanding day of training for our teachers, 16 new teachers and teaching assistants, beginning certainly with a greeting by the president of the board and myself. To set a tone and direction for the year. The participants experienced different trainings and information sessions throughout the year. So thanks to Dr. Fitzgerald, to Mr. Savalos, Ms. Del Mastro for their technology session, the tech department, Jim Rickey in the business office. Thanks to Jeanette Conley, our mentor teacher, who just does an amazing job of supporting our teachers and really teaching them what Pelham is all about and supporting them as they transition to our schools. Throughout the day, they experience a variety of different learning opportunities, collaboration opportunities, and all of it meant to model and really send a message about who we are and what we're about. So thank you for that work, preparing them, and what was a very short summer and a very fast week of training. After Tuesday's new teacher orientation, we then transitioned to 2 days of professional learning on the superintendent's conference days. Thanks to our PTA council for, again, hosting breakfast for everyone. It's always appreciated. A cup of coffee and a bagel go a long way to get things started as the summer comes to an end. We had greetings from a variety of different folks. Our alphabet soup, we've got our Board of Education, the Teachers Association of Pelham PTA Council, and the Pelham Education Foundation, all key organizations that support our work as a district. So we appreciated their presence and their greetings. We also have the great opportunity to celebrate our 25 and 30-year employees. We had the biggest batch of teachers retire last year, and yet we still had probably the biggest group and cohort of people achieving 25 and 30 years, something to very much be proud of, the longevity that our educators stay within our school system. It's fun to see them too. So many of them remember when they started. One of them sent me a picture. Beth Finkelstein was one of our 30-year honorees. She sent me a picture of her, Emily Kaiser, and Hutchinson, DeVico, Jen DeVico. The picture that was in the Pelham Weekly at their new teacher orientation 30 years ago, paper copy. So they haven't aged a day, by the way. But really exciting, just a really joyous time to celebrate and value the employees who have committed themselves to Pelham for their career. So then 2 days full of professional learning sessions. Thank you to Claire, who took the lead on facilitating all that, our administrative team, Tracy and her department, tremendous job of filling that in. I think it was probably the most robust day of professional learning that I remember in my 9 years. It's my 9th opening in Pelham. There was so many meaningful sessions, intentional sessions, coherent sessions, all aligned around those big rocks. Everyone got to touch some piece of those goals on day one as we kicked off the year. And of course, Board of Education, you provided us lunch that day, so thank you. Thanks to Whitson's too. Wanda does a fantastic job. This year's theme was Greek, so we had stuffed peppers and stuffed eggplant and kebabs and pita. It was really fantastic. These are just some of the themes. I'm not going to read them all to you, but some of the themes that were strewn throughout the 2 days of learning. We already talked about AI. CASEL is a term you're going to be hearing a lot from us, and that's the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. That is the framework that we are using to support our social emotional learning systems throughout the district. You're going to hear a lot more focus on that this year, especially as we deepen our work on multi-tiered systems of support. We focused heavily on that last couple of years on the academic side. So interventionists, data to drive instruction, where are students falling behind academically, and what strengths, where do they need strengthening. We're going to really delve deeper now into building out the social emotional learning side of that same system. The CASEL framework aligns very closely with the New York profile of a graduate that was just adopted. So the skills that we build through CASEL will be the skills that students are going to need as they approach graduation. And those are more of the soft side of things, the self-awareness, relationship skills, monitoring, things like that, that are important lessons in just human development that we also need to be intentional about and look for ways to build and assess throughout students' time here. So we're also going to be spending time developing a plan for that, looking at resources to strengthen our implementation there. A couple other things there you can read for yourself. So moving into the PPS realm, a lot of this work does overlap between academic and PPS because you have to be emotionally available in order to learn. So but we had a lot of commonality across. One thing that we did add this year as part of one of our updated policy, our policy work from last year, we updated the restraint and timeout policy. And part of that was requiring state requirement to provide training for all staff every year. So part of that is we found a great video that we've added now to the repertoire of training, compliance training that our folks need to do. The great part is that it's aligned to the CASEL framework. So again, it was aligned, coherent, and fits in with the work that we're doing. So all staff, administrators, through security monitors, special ed monitors, all staff will be participating in that. We gave time on that day, and some folks did it that day. We've given deadlines by which that needs to be done, along with the other compliance training that's required. We're continuing to support teachers in understanding and learning more about 504 plans. That's one of the biggest areas of growth, so we want to make sure that we're fully educated around that and understand its purpose and goals so that people can play a very meaningful role in the process. We continued with additional training from our behavior specialists that we contract with. Our psychologists took a deeper dive into some of the social emotional learning programs that we may consider as part of this focus. And then one of the other things that was mentioned at our board meeting last time, our psychologists and clinicians spend a little bit of time working with and understanding the new mental health clinic model that will be coming to us this fall. So we'll talk more about that as it gets closer as well. And then we move into the facilities and operations part of the show. The core of what we do is what we do in the classrooms with our kids. At the same time, our facilities continue to need annual tending, which they do, and our facility staff does a great job. I'm going to let Jim brag about them in just a minute. And this is all the normal maintenance and upkeep of our buildings. We're not talking yet about capital project improvement plans. That's still down the road. But just this summer, several different projects got done, some with in-house, some external folks. But at one of the in-house projects that we're really proud of at Colonial, as folks know, as we provided more instructional support for our students, we talked about this a lot during the capital project, you need more small instruction space. So one of the things that we've needed at Colonial was space for a speech room. State Ed finally approved those plans, and this summer work has started on that, and our in-house crew is working on that. So that's what you see there. It's the back room of the library. If you've been in the library, there's like a back area, subdividing it into a space for a couple different purposes, one of them being speech room and part of it being teacher work area. So lots of trees are evaluated every year, pruned. We had a couple that needed to come down to maintain safety and security. So our facilities team worked with contractors to do that and make sure everything was in ship shape for coming back. We're always proud of our floors. I know that sounds silly, but the smell of wax and the gloss
They're
that
shiny.
looks like shiny as the surface of water are a matter of pride for our custodians. They really do take a lot of pride in it. And it's really exciting to come back to see these floors literally looking like new. So I know Jim probably could tell us the number of square feet, miles they walked in the summer. I put you on the spot. Sorry. Don't ask questions you don't know answers to. My mistake. But really, just the guys do a wonderful job. And this is always very often they can clean the buildings in shifts. They can do maybe a third floor, then a second floor. But when you think about the summer use that we have, Hutchinson in particular had all the summer programs this year. So that Hutchinson was not available for full cleaning until 1 week before school opened. And that's our biggest physical square footage elementary school. So a tremendous amount of work has to be done in a very short amount of time, a lot of juggling of programs throughout the summer, and our custodians do a fantastic job. working with John Condon, managing not just the annual cleaning, but also any of the more major projects that have to go on this summer. So one of those, of course, being our investment that the community approved a couple of years ago, and that was the installation of the $2 million, up to almost $2 million HVAC systems on the roof of the middle school. So those were, I know Jim was holding his breath for quite a few minutes while that unit hung over on a crane over the middle school.
Was that the picture? I think that's the picture I took.
It could be.
Yes.
Because I was driving by.
I think I wanted to see it.
I was driving by.
24,000 pounds swinging above the building.
No, it was incredible.
Yep, 8 times.
Yeah.
So, but I know the board had a chance to see those firsthand on our facilities tour. And we're really excited. Those were original units that were being replaced. So really excited to have these. They're up, they're running. Still finishing up some details on connections, but very thankful to finally have those. And I know the board has understood now the process of state ed approvals and what all that. These are the units that were approved by the voters a little over 2 years ago.
Yes.
So that's kind of how things go in the school. We're really appreciative for the community for having approved those and for the work that was done to get those in place. Another high interest area, these are the 90 cell phone lockers that were purchased to supplement our shortage in lockers at the high school. As you all know, we started the new law that was put in place, cell phone bans at the schools that went into place here, and just like implementing of any rule, we do it.
Yeah.
So the expectation is that all students at the secondary level, that the phones go in their lockers. We were short about 40 lockers at the high school. So we did explore getting regular lockers because they could be multi-purpose. The lead time on them was extremely long. The cost was more significant. So we found these lockers. Jim and Mr. Llewellyn worked together to find those. These have been installed down by what used to be the old business office, is now near the Foundations of Learning room, right on this level, just around the other side. They are basically being assigned to seniors who don't have lockers. We're still waiting for some nameplates to go on, but these are going to go into service very quickly. In the meantime, the students have been made very clear that the ban is still in place. So those phones are to be in their bags until such time as lockers are available.
How was the first few days?
So I talked to Mr. Llewellyn, and he
Yeah.
said overall it's been great. Has not seen any in classes. They've had a few students sent down to the office, a little bit of adjustment period. I think most of that is coming from cafeteria or a little bit in the hallway. But we have to remember we have 3 grade levels of students who are used to having them in the hallway and the cafeteria for at least a year, 2, 3 years. So it's a lot of changing of habits. But so far, so good. And Emerson may have some thoughts on it. I'm not going to put her on the spot.
I didn't want to do that either, but if you do have any thoughts, let us know.
But so far, it seems really fine. People understand the rules. I think the building's been very communicative. And just to remind folks, if parents need to reach their children, call the main office. They'll get a message to the child the same way that we always used to do it. If a child needs to contact their parent, come to the main office. You let them use a phone. They can call their parent. My favorite part of Tuesday was seeing students walk around the hall with paper schedules. So that the administrators printed those out to distribute at the beginning because students usually just look at their phones for them.
Yeah.
So it really was like stepping back a little bit to, I keep saying 1993.
To the 90s, yeah.
But it works. It worked then, it works now. So we'll definitely keep updates on that. Mr. Llewellyn's got a committee that is going to be overseeing the implementation throughout the year and just kind of monitoring and revising as things go. So yeah, off and running. And I didn't hear from anyone ratting their children out, texting during
That was
school.
me.
So I think it's
warned them,
working.
one phone call between 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock and I'm ratting you out.
Well
You
done.
didn't have any parents ratting their kids out?
So one of the other big projects of this summer, of course, was the replacement of the turf at the Glover complex. So beautiful job. The design was
Wow.
great. The work went really quickly according to plan. Field's up and running and in use already.
Yeah.
And there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Done before August. So we appreciate the community's flexibility around that and all the hard work that went into making that ready to go. That's right. As you fly into, is it LaGuardia or JFK? LaGuardia. You fly into JFK, you can now see very proudly the Pelham Pelicans. On the school safety front, a lot of work, of course, is done each year on this as well. We're appreciative to continue to have Tom Drake working with us from Alteris. So he coordinated, worked with the facilities department, with Jim's office, to make sure that our systems are up and running, did a lot of testing over the summer. We also made sure that our security monitors, both those that are internal as well as those from Alteris, got training as we get ready to open school. So they were here receiving a lot of the same training that other folks were as well. Some shifts in staffing as well in the summer, which is typical. You may notice some new faces from our greeters. We did a little bit of movement there, so we're excited, and folks seem happy to kind of get a fresh start and see some different way that schools do things. So we're really appreciative to them for their hard work and the warm welcome that they provide all of our families each day. This year, safety team members were briefed on a couple of annual training kinds of things: Stop the Bleed, radio protocols, Narcan protocols, and they also participated in that completion of the crisis prevention intervention. That's the de-escalation training that we talked about. As Jim has said before, their job is a hands-off job, so to equip them with with skills for verbal de-escalation is critically important.
So, I'm sorry, before we move on from safety, there were, Jim and Dr. Champ, there were several tragic situations that occurred before the start of our school year. Is Alteris doing what they normally do, kind of gathering information and ensuring that whatever protocols we have in place are as strong as possible?
Yeah, and I would say they're always great about giving us notices of lessons learned. They usually get pretty much as immediate time action, real life. As soon as things come out, they're usually one of the first to get it. So they do distribute out to us pretty quickly what happened, so we can kind of understand the situation. And also with that, they usually pair in the lessons learned and any adjusted advice that they may give us. This year, I think we had one. We've already done one. I think we have a second required update to our safety plans.
That's right.
Right, for cardiac component, and the other one is escaping me. We made one change for this, and we're gonna have to bring it back to the board for the next change.
I think it was
Is the
cardiac,
cardiac.
yeah.
Yes, and that was because the state law changed.
Right, after we'd already started the process. So that's what they've been great at, is keeping us up to date on the state changes, but also lessons learned from any kind of crisis situation. And I want to once again thank our local police departments. They reached out before the start of school, having seen those same tragic events, and just proactively wanted to be here to make sure that the students, parents, staff, everyone felt a little bit heavier presence as a layer of comfort.
Yeah, we definitely thank them for that.
Yeah, yeah, they've been
Thank you.
always amazing to work with. And I know Tom Drake will be meeting with our BERT teams within the first couple of weeks of school. And the BERT teams are the Building Emergency Response Teams. So those are exactly the people that you want trained and up to speed on any new strategies that we should be keeping in place, because they're your go-to people when something happens, from the smallest medical thing to a worst case scenario. The Communications Department, we are continuing with several of our efforts that emanated out of the communications audit from several years ago. So updated and redistributed our pocket brochure and emergency guide. Those go out to parents and staff and to parents respectively. We've provided more Parent Square training for our elementary teachers on opening days, continuing to evolve their skill and use with that. Working to update our website, something that always needs tending, and we're doing our best to keep that up and up to compliance. One of the things that Alex Wolf, our Director of Communications, does really regularly is check in with our building and principals in particular, because they are a key source of information throughout the year. So working with them to provide support, anything that they need, and help them to develop their skills, so that we're always working to make sure that our communication is as effective as possible. One of the exciting things in communications realm, the board I think will be excited about this too. You may remember a little over 2 years ago when we did the full communications audit. Part of that was administering the scope survey, which was the quantitative part of the survey to the entire Pelham community. We will be again doing that this fall. So it'll give us a chance to measure kind of our progress on those same results from a little over 2 years ago. So we're excited about that, and look
Excellent.
forward to hearing more about that, and you will likely we'll be talking about that at upcoming board meetings as well. So before I finish that out, I want to show you one more thing that I've been working on that I think also fits the theme of the opening of schools. If we go to our district webpage, the district tab, and our strategic plan link. I'm not used to this touchpad, so you have to excuse me. There we go. Okay, we see our progress dashboard link is a little bit higher than it used to be.
Ah.
It gets better.
Yay.
Okay. I know, we're joking about this, but one of the things that we talked about is, and we met in our retreat,
In the retreat,
was
yeah.
how do we make the metrics more visible? So moved it up to make it a little bit more visible. And as the board is aware here, this is our landing page for our strategic plan dashboard. We've got an indicators tab and strategies tab. So I just want to take a minute or two to look at those because those have been updated partially for this year. We've talked about trying to update more regularly. So in my mind, I'm seeing about 3 different times of year where you can expect updates. This time of year would be mostly your demographics and any of the kind of big, larger outcomes from the prior school year, graduation rate, performance on AP exams, et cetera. Later in the fall, Dr. Comerford will do our student outcomes presentation in November. After that, we'll get another batch of updates on the bulk of the academic indicators. And then as we approach the budget season, there may be things then in the finance facilities category that you would then see updates there as well. So what we do have updated, district characteristics, these are all, this top section is updated as of the end of last school year. So these are reflective of the 24-25 school year. Okay, so you've got our enrollment from last school year, 2,827, et cetera. 26% of our students going on to college, 96%. 91 of those are going to 4-year colleges, 5% going to 2-year colleges, and you get some demographic updates there as well. And then when you get down to personal growth and achievement, some of these I know that we shared with the board recently, outcomes from our high school. So having received U.S. News and World Report, we ranked in the top 3% of high schools nationally, 5% in New York State. So that's rank of 426. So that's been updated, graduation rate, student attendance, et cetera, average SAT score from last school year, numbers of students in dual enrollment, which we know participation in college level courses is one of the best preparations for college. So what we did see is growth in almost all of these numbers this past year. So it's really something to celebrate. That also, I'm sure, is a big piece of why our rank in the U.S. News and World Report really moved up significantly. So most of that has been updated. We're still working on some updates as we get down here into the science research, athletics, clubs, et cetera. We don't have great systems in place yet for easily capturing that information, so folks are going through a little bit of more of a old school approach to
Manual.
finding that, but we're gonna get those and get that updated for you as we wanna continue to monitor those. And it gives us a chance to think about how do we build better systems. And as I said, the performance data, that'll be updated probably after that November, probably about December, late November, early December. Then we get into the belonging and wellness. We've updated some of this as well. Teacher attendance rate, teachers with 4 years of experience or more. So we've got a very experienced teaching staff, number of seniors who completed the Seal of Civic Readiness, senior exit survey, that's been updated, climate survey, we're just waiting for the middle school results there, but that should go up next week.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And maybe I've asked this before, but the seal of civic readiness, why is that in belonging and wellness?
That's a great question. I've got to go back to the
I
was just looking through the work plan, the original work plan that we crafted, and that's where it was, and it was intentionally put there. I think the connection and the reason for putting it there is if you're trying to help students find a connection to school and where they really feel it's relevant and they belong, part of that comes from a personal connection and passion. So I think it's definitely academic in nature, but it's taking something that's very personal to them and helping them find that real life, authentic connection to their work. So I think that because it was tapping into that side of them as, as developing human beings,
Yeah.
I think that's why we ultimately put it in that section.
It's a Good reason.
And then again, you see some of these other indicators there. So the other thing I wanted to highlight too, this was probably where even the more updating was done just this past week. So what we want to do is update it for this year's strategic objectives. Still, again, aiming for the same priority areas of the strategic plan, but I wanted to highlight here, what are the actual steps that we're working on this year? It's hard to, we are making some judgment calls on completion rates because some of these things are 5 years in the making. We've done some work on some of them. We're just starting some aspects this year. Or in some cases, we're starting over. If it's something that we offer, parent workshops in partnership with Pelham together every year. That was 100% completed last year, but we're starting this year over. So we got to, we want to give ourselves some room for growth. So here you can skim through these at your leisure. You see here our themes that I've already mentioned being reiterated to you. So clear systems of support for all students, exploring and planning for the changes coming from New York State Inspires, and integrating instructional technology. Those were our 3 big rocks for this year. If you click on the strategy word there at the right, it gives you the drop down with more specifics about how are we going to achieve those. So working on our MTSS academic plan, training all staff in that process, and conducting regular data teams. This year we're going to try adding to that repertoire. The buildings have regular data team meetings. We're going to try district level data team meetings this year to try to continue to supplement and build that system and culture of data. Going into the planning for New York State Inspires, you can see some efforts there, introducing it to all staff, seeing the implications for us, assessing that, leveraging our committees to do work around what are the changes that we need to implement in our system and how do we go about doing that, and how do we continue to evolve our pedagogical practices accordingly. Going into the instructional technologies, a lot of that's training. As I mentioned before, the user group from AI has already been a big boost in that area. Continuing to train staff, creating guidelines for AI use with students in addition to helping staff know how to tackle it. So there's just some more level of detail for you there. Going into belonging and wellness, again, you've got that systems of support theme is continuing here, and these other strategies, priority area objectives, really carried over from prior years because these are much more ongoing types of activities. So in the SEL realm, training all staff in CASEL, using that CASEL-aligned de-escalation strategy. So again, you're seeing hopefully the themes and the connection that we're making across our work. We're continuing to be actively involved in the RECOVS grant consortium. That's through BOCES, and it's a consortium of districts that are all working on this kind of, RECOVS came from Recovery from the Pandemic acronym. So it's focusing on the MTSS, on CASEL, on social emotional learning, all those same things that we're actively involved with. Then continuing promoting inclusivity. We've been doing a lot of work in this area over several years, so we're continuing a lot of the efforts that we've started there. Looking at our student climate surveys, we've looked at those, unpacked those. Buildings are doing things to address what they're seeing in them. We're looking how can we revise and refine those to get even better data going forward, to continue to respond accordingly, and then continuing to support things like responsive classroom, our different mentoring programs that we have, and efforts to build connections among students. And then as well, how do we continue to partner with our community and strengthen parent connections and provide learning opportunities for parents and families that are meaningful to them. Finally, moving into the facilities and sustainable learning. This first one is going to be our biggest one of the year, I think, and that is implementing our capital improvement bonds. $98 million worth of work brings a lot of work with it. So this is really going to be our design year. So there's going to be a lot of communications plan developed and rolled out, a lot of design work, so engagement with the community, especially thinking of the Siwanoy project. So we're going to be doing a lot of work there. And then working with the construction professionals, bond steering committee to align the work schedules, projects, get everything in place. So we're going to be doing a lot of focus in that area. Going to be continuing to work on our, as this is, the second one here is really related to, in particular, the cell phone rollout. How do we continue to build that in-person connections, create spaces and opportunities for kids to connect? Third one, of course, is policy. I put us back to zero, Sid. I'm sorry. Starting over.
You were so far.
You were
49
like
policies in
105.
1 year.
So
We're
hard.
going to try to top it this year. So another year of good policy work ahead of us. And then again, continuing our district safety and safety practices. So just wanted to highlight those because those really are very much, these are the activities that we're going to be focusing on this year. They're aligned to the strategic plan, they're aligned to our big rocks. And I keep saying, and I'm going to regret saying it because I know I'm going to have to do it at some point. The goal here, and I know the board knows this just from the leadership perspective, is to really align our work so that we stay focused on it and not take every good idea that comes our way. Which means we may have to say no from time to time to even really good ideas. And we always appreciate the community, we appreciate the resources, but we really want to work hard to stay focused so we can deliver on what we're hoping to accomplish. So, hope you like the new updated dashboard.
Yes. Looks
Great.
good.
That ends my report
Yes,
for tonight.
thank you.
I like that it's higher up on the.
I thought.
The button, yeah, you can't miss it.
Dr. Tram,
Yes.
can I ask you a quick question about
Of
going back
course.
to cell phones?
Yep.
So I know we focus a lot on the high school. I know there are elementary kids who do also, will have cell phones. I mean, the middle school's covered. Do you know if there were any changes that needed to be made at that level for phones or watches and that sort of thing?
I don't think there were significant changes needed. I do know the middle school, I think they had gotten away from using lockers,
Okay.
particularly, I want to say for 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So they did have to resume going back to use of lockers. The kids in the middle school were always in a phone-free environment, but they kept it in their bags for the
Right.
last several years. So I think that's probably the biggest change.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Board of Education committee reports? I don't
I don't think we've
think
had
we've
any
had a
meetings.
committee meeting
No,
yet.
I
Okay.
could've taken that off the
We
agenda.
might next time.
Mhm.
We have a bond steering committee coming up.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, do we have any communications and comments from the public? Are you leaving?
Thanks so much, I'm
Okay,
excited.
thank
Take
you
care.
so
We'll
much.
see you.
Thank you.
Welcome,
We'll see you
looking
soon.
forward
Have
to
a
it.
good- Have a good night. Okay, I don't think we have communications and comments from the public. We can move to 6.1. Do I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 organizational chart?
So moved. Second.
We'll just double up on all
Yeah.
these.
And I'll just highlight, really not many changes, change of title for Alex Wolf to Director of Communications. And and the addition of the PPS liaison, which is very similar to the staff developer type position. It's someone within the teacher's bargaining unit who's on special assignment, in this case, working specifically under Tracy Holtz.
Great, Tracy.
Yeah, they're already inseparable, I should add, so. Very much appreciate that, and that is a grant-funded position.
Okay. Any comments or questions on the org chart? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so the org chart is approved. We can move to 6.2. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the 2025-2026 Board of Education goals?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we should take a few minutes to
Discuss.
to
Yes.
discuss the goals. We started the goals in our retreat last week. This will be, we'll talk a little bit about finalizing them and hopefully approving them. Okay.
And I know, thank you, Val, for put some screenshots on there.
Yeah.
So that folks could see what we're looking at. I do have the live document.
Yes.
If,
Okay,
you know, if you'd
excellent.
like me to do some editing while we talk about it.
So maybe the best thing would be to talk through some of the changes that occurred. And make sure we're aligned on them. One is the goal category. We started with just communications. I think we, in talking to people and then also, some of my feedback, we added student outcomes to that so that it's really a dual goal category of student outcomes and communications. both equally, equally important. And then the actual goal itself reflects that. So we added language together. The board and superintendent will support the continued enhancement of student outcomes. That's the new part, as well as deepen community understanding of the value provided by the Pelham Public Schools. Okay, we talked at length in the retreat about ensuring that the community has the right information, has enough information to truly understand all of the great learning and outcomes for our students here in the district. So that's why communications came through so strongly in our board goals. And then, so we updated the objectives to reflect the board goal. So the first one, build on the district's culture of educational excellence. So there's an existing culture of educational excellence by fostering continuous improvement in programs, supports, and learning environments that promote student success. And then the second objective, effectively demonstrate the value of the Pelham Public Schools and its positive impact on student success to the broader community. So there are many of us who know, but you know, the community that supports Pelham schools through their school taxes, we want them to understand as well. Okay? Any comments or questions or changes? Dr. Champ has
The master.
the master.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
I like it. I think it like addresses the two things that came up in conversation, right, in regards to centering it right to the student outcomes. And what I really like too is supporting the continued enhancement and that lives in both of the objectives and the goals, because we did talk about we're all so proud of, you know, what we've accomplished and some of the data that supports that. However, to always continue to look at where can we build, where can we improve, how do we maintain what we've done. So I have no changes. I actually
Yeah.
think you hit it right on the head with this.
Yeah, that language works because it acknowledges how well we're doing, and at the same time, the reality that there are always things that we can change, do better, alter. So I think, yeah, that language really covers it.
Too. Yeah, me too.
Okay, so there are, I only have this part open. If we look at the bottom part, it talks through the sub goals, we call them outcomes here. So in support of those objectives and the overarching goal, we have, I guess, sub-goals in the areas of communications, finances, and data.
We call them deliverables.
Yes, deliverables. Okay, and some of this you spoke a little bit about the scope survey earlier. From a communication standpoint, we essentially have a list of things we want to achieve this year, the deliverables with respect to that. One is re-administering the scope survey, so that'll happen, right, in, I think you said November. And conduct a gap analysis, identify what the district is currently doing, and what the community feels it needs to receive, just so we're doing, I mean, I know from being on the board for a while now that the communications have made enormous progress, you know, in the district, but there's, again, like we were saying, there's always room to improve. We always see certain situations that we learn from, right, that we could have potentially communicated better or in a different way. So we really want to understand where the gaps are and apply some solutions to
I
that.
think it's always a moving target too. I think that's one of the many challenges in communications, especially in a
Yeah.
social media driven world.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Find
my-
the other one.
question, and I don't know, I mean, I think like when we look at the scope survey and within a year, I don't know how we would do it because it sounds like we've got the strategies, we can identify the areas, and sometimes it's not about more communications, it's just
Right.
about the type or in what way.
Right.
How, with the outcome of, right, demonstrating the value, understanding, putting the facts out there. I guess my question would be, after we've gone through all of that, we put in the strategies, how will we know? Like, will there be something built in, maybe some tests or some community outreach along the way? You know, like to really, again, continue to improve the strategies or evolve the strategies or really think about how will we know?
How do we measure, right?
Yeah.
So I did put, if you'll notice, and it's in a separate, there's two or three files. In the second file, if you go down,
Okay.
I added another row. It's like, how do we measure? And this
Oh.
is really to be determined, and with all of your all of your support on what makes sense for the district. But certain things I put there as like sort of food for thought is like the participation rate in the scope survey, right? Identifying the gaps and developing a plan to address them, and then some sort of post-implementation check, what that looks like.
Great.
I would sort of look to Alex and Dr. Champ to figure out what that might be, what's possible and how we could do it.
And I do think some of that, if I remember correctly, we're not doing the full audit, but the survey itself certainly will identify areas of strength, areas of growth, areas that we can, look to optimize. And within that, they generally, in the past, have given some suggestions of how to do that. So that's, if Alex, if I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to be.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to know it.
No, I mean, so couple key points on the scope survey and, what we did with the full audit last time around. The survey is a portion of that, right? What's great about the scope survey is it's nationally benchmarked. So you'll see how you're faring as compared to districts who have taken it across the district, but also because we ran it now 3 years ago, we'll see where, the efforts that, we've put in place have led us and where maybe they're falling short, or maybe, areas where we're doing really well. And then we can sort of look at it and say, all right, let's look at our strategic communications plan. Let's look back at the audit recommendations. Let's put a little bit more energy here, or, okay, we're good here. So let's focus there. We'll be able to, have those conversations and see where we want to go with it. So hopefully that is.
And I think the nice thing I would say about this process, and Alex has been just great about really being very faithful to it, is it gave us not only the audit, but it gave us a roadmap of a strategic plan. So there was a lot more intentionality behind it. And I think to your point, now that we can get data now that's on 3 years later, we know what we've intentionally changed and done and for where we focused our efforts. So I think we'll be able to more easily see those correlations, kind of
That's
to your
great.
point. And then that'll help us to figure out where do we go from there and how do we assess it? Because the scope survey is not something that's designed to be given 6 months later, or,
Yeah.
a year later. They recommend, I think, a
Yeah, the
2-year.
recommendation is to run it every 2 years. And recognizing too that, events that are happening beyond our walls are also gonna have an impact on perceptions of the school district and things that are going on. So, if you have a major
Absolutely.
crisis 2 weeks before the survey is administered, that's something, that you have to consider in there as well. So, and they speak to those sort of things, especially in the audit report. But it should be a nice snapshot. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you,
A
Adam.
quick question about the, I don't know if it's for you, Alex, or just us. The gap analysis, that's separate from what is learned from the scope survey?
I think the scope survey is gonna give us some insights into that.
Okay.
I guess that would be
You
really
would
would be a
use
question
it
for
as
the-
part of
I think it will
gap
help
assessment.
inform. It's,
Mhm.
I don't think our results are gonna come with an updated set of recommendations.
Right.
That's a separate product. That's more along the lines of the audit which we ran
Right,
last
right.
time. This
Mhm.
is more of a status check, but then we'll be able to kind of use those results to do something like that.
Yeah, because I'm just reading it, a gap analysis, identify what the district is currently doing and what the community feels it needs to receive. So what the for example, like what the community feels it needs to receive, is that information we're expected to then get from from re-administering the scope survey? Is that the idea, or am I misunderstanding?
think it will give us some of that
Some-
data.
Okay,
It is quantitative.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
may have to supplement with some qualitative,
Exactly.
okay.
would be my guess.
And one of the things I changed on here, and it really is a wording thing, is I used the impact of inaccurate information instead of misinformation, because misinformation to me implies that someone is deliberately delivering the wrong information about something, and that may be the case in certain instances, but much of the time it's a misinterpretation, or they just didn't find the information in the right spot or something.
I think that's smart also, because I think misinformation is just that word is so heavily used
Yes.
in our world that I like
Yeah.
not using it.
Yes, exactly.
So from that perspective, I
Right.
like inaccurate. I think that covers it.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So we're good with communications, sounds like? Okay. So if we move to finances, the outcomes or deliverables are fairly straightforward. One is to continue to have successful budget votes. We also want to be able to, we talked about being able to articulate a 5-year financial plan. Now, Jim, every year
Five-year forecast.
we develop a 5-year forecast. I think what more we're talking about is having the narrative around that, and have that available to people so they understand the trends and the things we're looking at when we're looking 5 years out. And I'm probably borrowing from something you always say: the minute the 5-year forecast gets posted, it's like outdated, and that's like in anyone's job, right? Who does like 5-year stuff. But it's good to have that kind of on everyone's radar. Yeah.
I guess I have a question, and the 5-year sounds good, but just given this moment in time, I saw like the 3 crossed out. Is 5, again, reasonable to be able to go out that far versus 3 to 5?
Well,
I mean, I
the
feel
way
like that is always a moving target too in our worlds, right? Like where 5 is like,
I thought we shouldn't have I thought we shouldn't have a range, and then I also
I like-
thought
yeah, I agree.
we wanted to be more longer term. And I
we
thought-
do, it's
Yeah.
more of a question than
Yeah.
like, let's not do it for Jim around the long term, given so much uncertainty. How feasible is that? Yeah.
And we've prepared that and shared that with the board the last few years. I think with the right communication, I think part of that 5-year plan is completely relevant.
Right.
But as we heard, the further you go out, you're
The less reliable.
less reliable that will be.
There you go.
But I think it's still important to look at it and
Great,
to at least say,
agreed.
we see these
I
things
agree.
out there on the horizon, and that's important. If we have something like debt service falling off in 5 years, those are
Yep.
things that we can then see and forecast
Great.
and put on the map for folks. What our health insurance is gonna do year in and year out, based on experience from the prior year or the prior 3 years, of course, those things are less accurate at that point in time. But I think it's totally within range to have a 5-year outlook. That's kind of what we've done. We have this year, and then we've got an outlook. We've shared kind of what our forecasts are based on, what our assumptions are. You can agree with the assumptions, you can disagree with the assumptions. That's part of the forecast, though. That's part of the entire exercise, which is an important part of the exercise.
Yep.
And that's why the Office of State Comptroller really encourages putting these 5-year plans together, so that boards and the community are aware of kind of what's there, that you're looking at it, and that you're not just looking at what's in front of you every year. Every year, you're doing this is what's in front of us this year, but also this is what we should keep an eye on to the future.
Totally. Agree 100%, so thank you. That's great.
Jackie, we're talking here with this goal or this deliverable, language and taking numbers and turning it into language, into like a story? Is that what we're saying? Just so like the community understands what, because we already do a plan.
Because right now, it's on a spreadsheet, yes.
Right.
Right? It's
That's
on an
the
Excel, it's on an
So it's not
Excel
like we
sheet.
don't do it,
So
it's just,
have an explanation
an
that's
explanation
easy to understand,
Sure.
easy-ish.
We're coming up on that time
It's a
period
little
when we do it every
communication-ish, right? Are we-
And I think we share a small communication, a memo, sometimes an accompanying memo on what that is. There's certainly things we can add to it, which would add to the flavor of that. You can include your enrollment forecasts. Things like that are helpful. We could share if the Office of State Comptroller has a mid-year budget analysis. Those are things that can be important, or any types of information that we may use in forming our assumptions. We could use things, that we may find from our benefit provider, if that's helpful as well. So those are things that we can add. It's always part of it. It may not always be seen in the final product, but those are things we can provide as additional information.
you're using all of that to
Yeah.
put the forecast together, and I think it's a matter of helping the community understand in plain language that what the district is doing already to come up with the 5-year plan.
Yeah, and it's fair to.
With the caveat that it gets updated every year.
Right, and that's
Exactly,
gonna
it
change,
doesn't-
and- yeah.
Because things
Yeah.
don't, things
Not set in
change.
stone.
But there again, and there are things that we have a pretty good record of, where we know if we have settled contracts, we know what
Right.
those cost of living increases are going to be year to year. So those are things where we do have that information, and that's where we could be more accurate, or if we know something's happening down the road. But certain things we're given expenses to every year, your pension expense or your health care, those are a little bit more unpredictable from
Yeah.
time to time. But that's where we also communicate that in our corresponding communication, so that we can share with the reader, all right, this is where we have, these are some risks that we could see happening. State aid, do we expect to see growth? Do we not expect to see growth?
Right.
Minus, neutral, positive.
Right.
What do we expect to see? We can make an assumption that we anticipate to stay within the tax cap. When you do that, there's some predictability to that revenue flow. We receive, on the revenue side, not income tax, sales tax. So again, there's some predictability to that,
Yeah.
and we'll have some basis of assumptions that we're happy to share with the reader for that.
Well, like you said, like even if it's not for sure, it allows sort of those things to pop up so we can get ahead of it or start to think about it, right? When you're looking at 5 years from now,
Yeah.
right? Like around, this, like if this trend continues, this is something we're going to need to address now for the next 5 years type of thing.
And I think it goes along with what does the community need to hear from us?
Yeah.
The numbers are there and the work is being done, and it's ensuring that the community understands, yes, the district is taking all of these factors into account. That's
What needs to be
Well, I see
communicated.
It
it
needs to be
as-
communicated, yes.
Right, is helping, we can call it plain language, we can call it easily digestible, helping the community, because the work is there, we're looking at this information already. It's, you give your presentations around the district, you do include some kind of narrative that goes along with the budget presentations and these numbers, but helping the community read it and understand it to the best that we can. It's such a complicated, the budget is such a complicated beast.
Lot of inputs. There's many
But
inputs.
and this is we can look at this as a starting point, right? Like we'll do some things differently this year, we'll see how it's responded to, and then we can do more things differently this year, all with the goal in mind with what we're talking about. So like, the goal is an easily digestible way for the community to understand better what goes into the budget and why things are happening or decisions are happening the way that they are happening, so that they can feel confident and comfortable with the vote in May.
And I think as we'll look to the board for guidance in October,
Yeah.
This is one of those tools that the board is able to use. And again, just one tool of many, and we'll work with that. We'll work with the finance committee before it's brought to the entire board, and that'll be it'll be an iterative process, but I think it'll be a different product, and then hopefully it'll meet what the board is looking for. If we miss it, we'll do it again, we'll keep working till we get to that point.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
There's a third, I guess, deliverable under finances, and we talked about this earlier. It's implementation of the capital bond work. So I think we're all on that one.
We all agree.
And if we just look at I took one out of there because and I put it down at the bottom in the how do we measure section. The one returning to historical budget passing percentages. We talked about this several times. The budget passage percentage from this past year was the lowest we've had, and Will's not here tonight, he's at his sister's wedding, but he would remind us that it's the lowest it's been in 20 years, so we would like to return to the support that we've historically had for the budget, and we think with better communication on the budget will help get us there. We talk about the budget a lot, to say the least, as we go into budget season. So I do think it's a matter of, how do we need to sort of revamp our communications on the budget to possibly even including a sort of a pre-budget season activity with the community. You, Dr. Champ, you and I talked about, you said some districts put out a survey or, I'm not sure what that would, I look to you all to figure out what makes sense, but changing up our budget communications to make them more understandable.
Yeah, I might also argue, I don't know, because I don't think we have a lot of data, that this past year, there was a lot of information the community
was a
had to
huge
take in
ballot.
between the bond and the discussions and so on. So it could be an anomaly because
Yes.
of all of that. I mean, I think the improving communications, I think there's nothing, this is like a big important role. So time will tell, and data will also, kind of some of that feedback will help us, because I think it's hard to know, it's just hard to know exactly what attributed to that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The ballot was very large. Dr. Champ didn't spend necessarily as much time on the budget speaking to the community about the budget compared to the bond
The
work.
interest was all in the capital projects.
Yes, so, those
Yeah.
absolutely impacted, I guess the people who turned out to vote, all of that, because it was a bond vote year, so.
I think even the amount of what was asked and the economic factors that were happening at that moment in time were real. There was a lot of unsettling dynamics at work. And a larger scale. So, yeah, I think to your point, I appreciate that. It's not any one thing. It's probably several variables that impacted. But I think certainly Alex and I are going to be meeting, shortly. We were waiting to get the board goals approved to make
Yes.
sure that we had the most updated, marching orders on this. But yeah, we're definitely going to meet to refine, and certainly with Jim too, in laying out the budget process. What can we do to tweak and to start some of those conversations earlier, internally and externally, to help achieve this goal.
Yeah, and it's extremely important, because if we ever need to move through the tax cap, like many districts around us have already, we need the support of the community to do that.
Probably when.
Wait, when?
Hopefully not
When?
now, but
No, not
hopefully
now.
when.
What?
Not- I mean,
It's
like,
something
I'm
that
looking at Jim.
in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of our sister, districts have done it in Lower Westchester.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's,
Yeah.
it's in the future.
I think it's
unfortunately.
it's not if, it's just when,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and being as prepared and communicative, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one more. So are we okay with, okay, finances? And then we can move to data. We talked a lot about data. Data from the standpoint of demonstrating the using data to demonstrate the value of Pelham schools, but also, supporting the district's use of data, which you talked a lot about in your opening in terms of MTSS and all that, using that data to help improve outcomes for students or success for students. And we just looked at updated, more visual, and easy-to-find data dashboard.
Done, check.
That's done. And then data, I mean, we often think of, numbers and all of that, but we are also talked about data, like having more frequent and holistic sharing of success in the areas of student achievement, student activities, student and staff well-being, finance, and facilities. We do celebrate success a lot, right? But doing it even more so like across schools, at our board meetings, so people can come and see the great things happening in Pelham schools. Okay. Sorry, I'm going in between. And you can see, I guess it's purple, just, I added one more. Yeah, where the changes are. One thing I added was to identify measures of school district quality that we want to track and communicate. So this is not like, let's figure out what test scores we want to, we want to put out there, but having what we think are the measures of quality. I had sent out that article, The New Best Way to Measure School Performance, and I know Dr. Comerford, that you had sent that to Dr. Champ as well. I thought it was really aligned to the discussion that we had at our retreat in terms of, and I also thought that our school district does many of those things that are measures of quality for the school district, and it's really kind of bringing them to light for the community so they understand the quality and the value that Pelham Schools provides.
I thought this was a great ad. You get what you measure.
All right. Okay. All right, so I don't know if I need to go through all these because most of them are the same from the meeting. I added some measures that potentially the dashboard will contain several of the measures of school district quality that we will identify. And that I think it's important that the dashboard and any sort of data presentations include the narrative, similar to what we're saying about the 5-year, the 5-year plan having a narrative, but the value of when we show the data, tell the story of what it's saying about Pelham schools.
Yeah, I really like that because we're sort of hitting two things. One, to be able to celebrate and share the successes and everything we've done, but then also tying back to that first one, it'll identify areas that we can get what we measure, right, to get everything we want. And so I think it kind of hits both of those, right, to be able to celebrate all the wins and all the successes and also be able to know the value of where we want to, the goal, where we want to go.
Yeah, I think that piece about identifying the things that are important to us is critically important, because I think that's where you get the balance.
Yes.
Because not everything that's important is easily measured.
Yes.
That's
And I
right.
think that's where, as you said, the qualitative has to be a key piece of this, because so much of what the educators value, what we all, I mean, as parents, we value, the human beings that we're, trying to work together to develop, a lot of that is not easily measured. So how do we capture those other
Mhm.
really important things that we value and represent that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I think that's it. There was one other document, yeah. So for each of them, I had added as a way to measure that we've developed community engagement metrics. And that just really means like, how well are we doing figuring out how well are we doing communicating these things? So, across those categories. Okay, so it sounds like we don't have any wordsmithing to do at the
no,
moment.
that's great.
Well, you did a lot of it before. with us,
I
so-
tried.
A good night's sleep after a discussion like
Yeah,
we
I
had
had to
really
think about
Well
helps.
done. That was actually
Yes.
pretty good.
Okay, good.
And
So then
I was gonna say, and I should add, Alex needs at least a staff of 4 people now
I
to help.
know. That's a whole nother, I know, look at
We
him.
just
I know,
talked
he's
about
like
He's sweating
communication.
over there a little bit.
The whole goal is communication.
Or the title change.
You know, and I'm gonna say it again, because we said it, and I know you all said it, but I just Alex has done incredible work. And the ways that he's moved our district forward over the last few years have just been tremendous with the Department of One. So thank you,Alex, for that.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Alex.
And this is gonna be, I don't know, this is not gonna be 2.0, I think we're gonna be into 3.0 or 4.0. But, I appreciate how much the board does value communications, and, in the role that he's played in building us to what we are now. And we'll take the ball and run with it and do our best to bring the story of Pelham to life in some new ways in the coming year.
Thank you. Okay. So all in favor to approve and adopt the 2025-2026 Board of Education goals?
Sorry, hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
There's this line, what are the month by month, and it's TBD, are we gonna take that out, or is that?
That's something that the administrative team now takes these.
Got it,
And-
that's where
and
that goes, okay.
After we hire a communications staff, we're gonna take it and we're gonna. no,
Oh, that's right, sorry,
Yeah,
I
the
got
cabinet,
it.
we'll work
Yes.
on fleshing that out so that we set our roadmap for delivering.
Got it, yep,
Yeah.
okay. All right, sorry, Jackie.
That's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? So thank you for the work at the retreat to get these
Yes,
together.
well done,
Thank you.
well done.
Okay. Let's see, back to I want to make sure it's the same. Okay. We can move to 6.3. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the 2025 to 2026 Board of Education Governance Meeting and Communication Protocols?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is something we briefly discussed and we took it as homework.
Yeah.
I didn't have any comments on it. I read through it.
Okay. What I can do, I can just skim really quickly through
Yeah,
what was inputted.
Mhm.
And for the most part, it looks like everything's in a keep, we did a protocol, a keep, cut, or adjust.
Mhm.
And for the bulk of everything, everyone indicated keep. So just a couple comments on several items. The first one, board will employ systems-based thinking to optimize student achievement. That statement, a recommendation was made to maybe consider the word improve instead of optimize.
Okay.
Okay. Question on the second statement, referring to publishing an annual document describing its governance, meetings, and communication practices, asking what that document was. This is that
That is
document.
that document, yes.
So,
Yep.
maybe there's clarity around that.
And just going back to your first one,
Yeah.
systems thinking would use the word improve.
Okay.
So I'm okay
So,
with changing it.
Are we in the
Yeah.
hearing, we're okay in changing that to improve? Okay. Okay,
I think we try to avoid
yeah.
improve because it seems like, it makes it that there is something
Right.
that
Right,
that
you don't want
has
it
to
to
be
come, yeah,
improved.
trying not to come from a deficit
Yeah,
perspective.
exactly,
Um,
but
Okay.
that's not what we mean.
So then moving down to board will review its behavior by yearly self-evaluation. Just a streamlining recommendation, consider replacing everything after the "and" with discuss any significant issues that are identified.
Sure.
That does seem more streamlined, straightforward.
I think that might be a Sid comment.
Okay,
I
I'm
try
sorry to
not
go
to
back
comment on
to,
my comments.
so, sorry to go back now to improve. Now I'm rethinking it because we do, it does indicate that we are coming from a deficit if we say improve.
Yeah, but so my point is, if you talk about systems thinking, continuous improvement shouldn't be thought of as a negative in any way. I'd like to change the
Yeah, I don't
the
feel like
thought
it's
about
a
the
negative.
word. I'm taking back,
Take it back.
Empowering that.
yeah. What do you
To
what do you
improve
think?
student
I think you
achievement
can
and
always
community
improve, so.
engagement. Yeah. I
Even
mean, I
better
don't,
if,
fist of five, I'm like at a 2 or whatever. I'm okay, I just,
Is it
A
3?
oh,
two?
3.
I was like,
Okay.
2's not good.
Oh, 2 means I'm holding things,
Yes.
no, okay, 3. Okay.
Okay, improve,
It's,
fist of 5, everyone at least at a
Yeah.
3.
yes.
Okay. Okay, then, moving down, the board president is a primary contact between the board and the superintendent. Superintendent shall maintain regular communication, blah, blah, blah. Last sentence may be duplicative with the first sentence of the following item. That is true. Superintendent will maintain regular communication with all members of the board. Well, it's slightly different. The first one is superintendent maintain regular communication with the board president on matters of importance, followed by superintendent maintain regular communication with all members of the board on matters related to the district. Subtle difference. I don't know if
I
it's a
think they're
substantive
different.
difference.
I wasn't sure what you guys were getting at with like matters of importance versus
Right.
Yeah.
like what we were, I don't know.
The superintendent shall maintain regular communication with the board president.
I guess I always interpreted that as streamlined communication. I'm not trying to talk to 7 people every day about every important thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to one person so
Okay.
that we could have that like a
Gather
flow of
all the
communication.
feedback
Yeah.
from the board. and
Right,
Mhm.
right,
Pass it on.
right.
So should that be more specific then? If you're talking to the board president about matters of importance, and then it's up to the board president to get that information to the
That-
rest of us?
It's spoken about elsewhere.
yeah, that, I think further down, is it to, do we add to streamline communications? The superintendent shall maintain regular communication with the board president on matters of importance.
Is it also beyond just streamlining to a little bit also of one voice type of it? Do you know, like,
Mhm.
The board's primary contact. I see the difference between
Yeah.
those two sentences, so.
I do too.
I guess one of the things maybe that I was reacting to was the use of shall maintain regular communication in both places was sort of weird, because
Like,
it
should it be
seemed like
one
the
sentence?
expectation was that there would be different level of communication
Oh,
with the
interesting.
president
Yeah.
versus the board as a whole.
That's true. I wonder about the word regular, if that just came out of the second. We-
it feels like like one is, it just also feels like the flow is different, like, the second one, it's the superintendent, you are communicating to the full board of matters. And then the first one feels like it's more of like the board president is filtering matters of importance to you in a way. Do you know, like, it's almost like it reads like
Yeah,
the flow is different.
I don't know that we need to belabor it necessarily, but I wonder if maybe the communications with the board president is more like the superintendent shall maintain like an open dialogue with, or ongoing dialogue or something
With the board
with the
president?
board
And
president.
that's it?
On
fine. On important-
matters of importance or
yeah.
something, or,
That's fine with me.
you know.
Open
And like,
dialogue.
almost delete the first sentence?
No, I think,
Or just leave it.
The primary contact
Okay.
part is
Yeah.
important.
Okay.
just change the
Um,
parallelism
Maybe that
a little
second
bit.
sentence, right, like.
Okay.
Or like, we'll communicate, you know, principally with the board president of matters of importance, or,
Primarily,
Yeah.
principally.
either one. Or initially,
that.
like, you know, in the first instance, we'll communicate with the board presidents on matters of importance. I'm just not, it's
Yeah.
also not clear that that's exactly what happens, because it feels like things that are important tend to go out directly
Right.
to the whole board,
Right,
but there is a different level of
Yeah,
communication between
communication.
you two.
right,
Mhm.
right, there's a lot more coordination. Yeah, we're probably overthinking it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but superintendent shall communicate principally. I like the prior version a little better.
Okay.
What did we have? I like the open dialogue, maintain an open dialogue. I don't know, that
Mhm.
seems, I guess it seems more descriptive of what
What
actually
happens.
What
occurs.
is actually yeah, what is actually happening? If that's what it is, then, yeah.
Okay, can we live with that for now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll have a chance to review it next year. Okay, then a little further down, only a couple more here, all pertinent issues brought to the individual board members from committee members should be raised with the board president, including forwarding relevant emails. There was concern that it just may be a little bit too time demanding.
To the board president?
I think it's important to do it.
And I got what Sid was saying, and I thought if we can somehow word it where, you know, we're gonna talk with community members just in passing, or they're gonna reach out to us directly and ask for coffees. I think if we keep you informed to let you know, hey, you know, I'm meeting with so-and-so, they wanna discuss X, Y, and Z, and just let you know what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm.
That, because it's worded in a way where it seems like if anybody reaches out to us, we send everyone to you. That's,
No,
That's not what you want.
no, but I don't think that's what it says. All pertinent issues brought to individual board members from community should be raised with the board
Right.
president. So that should notify, here you're saying change it to like notify the board president? And I do think if you receive an email from a community member,
Have it forward.
that I should take a look.
Is shared a better word than raised?
Yeah,
yeah,
I like
maybe.
share,
yeah.
which is I think what we do
Sid,
now.
Sid, was that what you were
Yeah.
getting at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is what we do now.
Right, because in an email, I'm going to likely be the one that responds. Or at least talk
Yeah.
to you about
Right,
what to
you'll talk
respond.
What to
Response.
say, or, right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But you should be aware of all of
Mhm.
it in
Yeah.
one fashion or another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I like shared.
Share.
Yeah.
All right, central office administrators will have a responsibility to include all supporting information from district committees to the full board. Example of agendas, minutes, presentations. So the comment was there can be a lot of materials at times. Be good if there's a clear explanation of anything, like basically highlighting the importance. Is it kind of what you're
Yeah,
getting at?
especially with the supporting materials, I think.
Okay.
Like if there are things to focus on in there, it would be good to highlight it out of,
Okay.
you know, a 50-page attachment.
Full board.
You're talking about policy.
Sometimes.
Should it make, which is about adding,
And
specific highlights should be noted in communication or something like that?
Yeah, like it's almost like that executive summary type, right? Like all that, like
Yeah, like a
most
page
important.
citation, like, you know, please review X on page 16 or
Yeah.
some.
I don't know that it necessarily goes in here even, but
Mhm.
just as long as that's like the operating expectation for
Oh,
how we
okay.
present it.
All right, that's good to hear. All right. We will work on that. And next, board members may call or email an assistant superintendent to ask clarifying questions. So just a question about what would be an example of that.
I call
So
Jim all
maybe-
the time.
Okay, so maybe I was just misunderstanding, so I was distinguishing between
Or I
assistant
text you.
superintendents and central office administrators. It's just
Assistant.
one and the same, oh,
One and the same.
so delete
Yep.
it. Not delete the whole thing, delete my comment.
Okay.
Delete the whole thing.
All right, got it. And that's it. those were the
Okay.
comments. So
Good comments.
I've highlighted the changes in bold on the document. Valerie has it, so I think we can approve this as amended.
Okay.
Do I take a new
Yeah.
motion or
Um,
to approve amended?
Oh, that's a good question. Do we need to, Valerie, do we need to do a different, since we're approving it as amended, do we need to take a different motion? Yes. Okay, do we table the
Do I have
motion
to
that's on
table?
the floor? And then propose a new motion?
Okay. Wait, do I have a motion to table the motion to approve and adopt the governance meeting and communications protocol?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the amended 2025-2026 Board of Education governance meeting and communication protocols?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that's approved.
Great,
Okay,
thank you. Hopefully this next one doesn't need much discussion.
okay. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the 2025-2026 Board of Education committee roles and responsibilities?
So moved. Second.
Okay, do we have any comments and questions on these? I think we pretty much held steady from
Yep.
last year.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say, the benefit of a board continuing is you get continuity. So most roles stayed the same. I think we made some tweaks to rotation in one case. Reduced a couple, board membership on a couple
Wellness, yeah.
committees. Yep, reduced on wellness, reduced on school culture and belonging.
Yes,
Efficiencies.
Yep,
yes, efficiencies,
Efficiencies. Yeah.
very good.
which was part of our discussion at the retreat,
Yep.
so. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's none opposed, so that is approved.
One thing I would add too, we usually solicit for community
That's right.
membership in October, early October. So we're going to be working with the cabinet to set dates for meetings, tentative calendars. Then we'll be soliciting for the community membership. As we talked about the retreat as well, we want to make sure to keep the committee sizes optimal, which may mean a little bit smaller in a couple cases. So certainly appreciate the community's willingness to step forward and volunteer. We wish that we could put everyone on a committee, but we know in advance that that's likely not to happen. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, and we have the same committees as last year. There are no new
Correct.
committees, and there were no committees sort of
Eliminated.
removed.
Right.
And facilities is.
Transitioning to bond steering.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Now I think we're into just regular business. We can
regular
expedite.
business. Okay, we can go to 6.5. Do I have a motion to amend a contract to KGD Architects for district-wide architectural and engineering services?
So moved.
Second?
I don't mean to laugh. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay, do we want to talk about this for a moment? Jim? Oh, okay. This is just for small jobs. Okay, this is for small jobs, okay. Are there any comments or questions on this one? Okay. All in favor?
this is,
Aye.
sorry, this is not for the
No.
bond project.
No.
Okay,
No, we'll talk,
that's what I
And
thought.
for-
Yeah, no, that's what I thought.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so that contract's approved. Moving to 6.6. Do I have a motion for a resolution authorizing agreement for architect services?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we probably want to talk about this
Jim,
for a moment.
yeah.
This is for KGD.
Okay, so good evening. This item on the board agenda is for the architectural services related to the $98.8 million bond. The recommendation is to work with KG&D Architects, who we've been working with since 2023. Just to kind of remind the board and the public, we went out for public RFP in 2023 for our building condition survey. Through that process, KG&D worked with the district leading up to our budget vote this past May. As part of that now, we're moving into the next phase, which is the implementation of that, working with our attorneys and KG&D. We have the agreement that we've shared, the draft agreement that we've shared with the board and that we want to execute. As you look at the fee, it's made up in two different parts based on the two propositions. So for the first proposition, which is Proposition 1, you see there is a fee. And then for Proposition 2, there's a fee. Cumulatively, excuse me, I'm going on memory here, I think it's $5.4 million. As we look at this, it's a substantial amount of money. It's within the soft cost guidelines and budget that we had forecasted as part of this project. And it falls within the range of professional services for a project of this magnitude. It's a lot of work, obviously, and a lot of communication over the next 60 months.
Okay. Does anyone have comments or questions? No?
To what extent is this sort of all-in cost, or to what extent are there expectations that there'll be pieces that are outside this?
So there are certain allowances, but then there are certain things that are carved out. Some things an example of something that could be carved out may be related to identifying hazardous materials, where the district would engage a contractor directly. Other times when that may happen, we have a direct pass-through with the vendor. We do not pay an upcharge. So it's a zero upcharge pass-through. Say if the vendor needs to engage a special contractor for something that was unforeseen. So there could be something if it's above and beyond kind of what's included in those basic services. But what we tried to do was capture, kind of get those allowances in there for what we would expect as part of the regular course of business.
Okay, thank you.
And again, I'm thinking back to the last bond.
Didn't we extend it, I think, because the timeline went?
I think our timeline extended, so that was one, and different things came up. We did a public project labor agreement, or we had a consultant come in on the Hutchinson School to give us the equivalent of a LEED certified building. And those were things where, those were above and beyond that were not initially contemplated.
And this was, you mentioned this earlier, this was, expected, and it's budgeted for.
Yes, it's part of, so when the architect puts together the budget, part of that includes what they call soft costs.
Right.
And part of those soft costs include the cost for architects. They'll include the cost for construction manager. Board has interviewed construction management firms. We're working to get to a final resolution for that, and we hope to bring that to the board shortly as well. That would be also included in soft cost, and sometimes there are things in soft cost that are not those two things. Say, if a special communication or if special engineering, that's above and beyond. Last project we did, blasting, which was something that, again, we had a special engineering firm that helped us with the blasting and the monitoring of the blasting. And that was something that was also included in soft costs.
Okay.
And Jim, they have to stick with the Proposition 1, right? Like 3 million has to be aligned to Prop 1, the 2.4 has to be aligned to Prop 2, right?
Correct. So the fees are based on each of the, right, the value, or they develop their fees based on the value of the projects, as I understand it. And
There's no moving in between.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
It's a fix for that project.
and that goes for the district too. So we can use funds approved in Prop 1 for
Correct.
Prop 2. That doesn't
Right.
happen. Prop monies are left in are to be expensed for Prop 1 when that work is completed, if there's money left over. And if we wanted to move it someplace else, we can't. It stays with Proposition 1.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so that resolution passes. I did not read the whole thing because it was very long.
It's on the agenda.
I mean, I read it, but I didn't read it aloud.
We know you read it.
I didn't read.
Thanks for clarifying.
I did read it. Okay. Do I have a motion to take 7.1 to 7.3 as a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any comments or on these?
No, it's just continued personnel appointments, specifically on the instructional. You see a lot of what we call overages, 6-period assignments, so teachers who are taking on an additional class period. So we're appreciative to them. That's
Yes.
one of the things that really serves the district well and gives students the programs that they need. So that's the bulk of what you see there. A couple FMLA appointments, teaching assistant appointments. And we're very happy to have a couple new secretaries joining. New secretary for Hutchinson School, Myra, trial by fire. Her first day of work was the first day of school, so she came back for day 2, I believe, so we're good there. We have Nora Schweid-Lemorin, who's joining the PPS office. Tracy's very happy to have her as well.
Great.
We've been really shorthanded in many areas around the district, so we're really thrilled to have them come. And also a school monitor, as well as an additional part-time school nurse for Siwanoy.
Dr. Chap, are we fully staffed, and I don't mean by just the
Instructional.
teacher staff, the instructional staff,
Yeah.
but like, we always struggle with
Yeah.
getting monitors, and I haven't heard anything this year
Yeah.
about our monitor situation.
I'm gonna ask Dr. Fitzgerald, you have to
Oh,
move to the
fantastic.
microphone. You gotta move to the microphone, please.
So she's got her show on.
She's very
because it's
comfy down
freezing
there.
in this room.
The computer, the notebook.
Right.
Yes, it's been a busy summer. We are currently today fully staffed. And I say it that way because you never know what tomorrow is
I'm
going
an
to
HR,
bring.
yes.
Right,
day is
exactly.
different,
So today we're waiting for some people to have their fingerprints finished and finalized so we can onboard a few more people. But as of today, we're fully staffed. I mean, we are canvassing for an office assistant in Claire's department. But that's underway and moving along, so. We're working on it.
Congratulations. We've
Yes.
always heard how
Yeah,
we struggle
it's
in
amazing.
here to obtain the monitor or the support staff, so.
Yeah.
very
Hit
well
the
done.
ground running.
Keep your
That's
fingers
great.
crossed.
Yes. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so all of those motions carry. Do we have any 8.1, any new business?
No new business, but Dr. Champ, can you tell us a little bit
Oh,
about this?
yes.
Because-
Those of you who started on the facilities tour last time missed out, so we got these back. So we're really
yeah, I
excited.
have
As you
one of
may
these.
remember in the past, you remember the boy who harnessed the wind and Chasing Space? Dr. Callahan has been working with his team to put together the next STEM initiative for the district, and that is Pelham Ignites the Elements, chemistry themed this year. So this pen is some of the swag that we wanted the board to have, just to raise awareness of it. We're really excited. I believe October 9th is a special event. We've got an author coming, and his name escapes me right now in the book, but I know that I sent a note to the board about it. So we're going to kick off the event with a great author visit, so we highly encourage folks to watch for that notification. Get your RSVP. We sold out within minutes last time, so we're really excited about that. Thank you to Dr. Callahan, to the team. It does a tremendous amount of work throughout the year, so we're excited to see where this year's series brings us.
Very excited, even the pen, I'm so excited, just
Yeah.
the pen, the way they have the Prospect Hill.
Very
I'm
clever.
sorry,
It's a
Oh,
new
no.
element.
Prospect Hill,
periodic
it's,
table.
it's very dear to me, but Pelham.
The Pelham
like,
element.
Yeah, the Pelham element is so like nicely done when it comes to like the chemistry side.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very
They're really
nice.
thoughtful about the theming and branding, so.
But
And
always a
it is
Prospect Hill.
Prospect.
Sorry, put it out there.
True. Double.
Sorry.
Double element.
Our
Yeah.
zip code and everything.
Thank you, Sam.
I know, it's
Yeah,
so, it's
the
very
author
well
is
done.
Sam Keen is the author. It's The Disappearing Spoon.
Yes,
Easy also to
disappearing spoon.
Yes.
Disappearing Spoon.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so watch for information on that, sign up, get your tickets as soon as those come out.
Great. Any more new business? No? Okay, we don't have communications and comments from the public. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.